Okay, basically today we're looking at control flow. In the previous classes that we've had, we've talked about what variable is. We talked about what comparison. We talked about variables, values, introducing value types that we have in JavaScript. We also talked about we talked about arithmetic operators. We talked about comparison operators, and also talk about logical operators. And that, if you can't hear me clearly, please let me know. Yeah.
I can do it. I can hear you.
Okay. You can also mute your mic too. Except like if you have questions, just unmute it and ask me. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have so today we'll be looking last week I talked about comparison operator, logical operator. Yeah. I think those are like the two key things I discussed last week. And the reason why I had to do that was that it's actually needed if you're going to be looking at control flow. And control flow is the order in which the GS interpreter executes the statement. Generally, JavaScript we execute the program, whatever program you have, whatever program you have, JavaScript execute we execute it from top to bottom. Now, for example, let me open the Visual Studio Code here now. Where is it? So now if you have a block of code now and it's running in JavaScript, where is it? I think I created a file. So, I think this is not the let me rename it. That's what HTML. So let's put our script tag. So now, right. So now let's imagine if you have a code in JavaScript, you have a JavaScript program. What will happen is that the code is interpreted from top to bottom. And I want to kind of show that. So now let's imagine we have console.log one. You can see my screen clearly, right? If you don't get what I'm explaining, just call my attention so I can go over it, please. So do just keep listening to me without understanding what I'm explaining. So now imagine we have a program. We have this program, which is I want to console log 1234 to the I want to console log this digits 1234. Now what happens is that JavaScript will execute the program from top to bottom. It will start from line 10 and it will move to the next line, line 11, move to the next line, line 12, move to the next line, line 13. I hope you understand. So if you check the console now, if you check the console, we'll see that one will be outputted first before, and the last number, the last digit we'll have on our console will be 4. You can see that clearly. Already, I don't know if you can hear me.
Boss, Afana, I did with you.
Okay, okay, okay. Just one.
Yeah, 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 no.
So that's what will happen. JavaScript will execute the code from the top to bottom. So now when we talk about control flow, this is the flow we have in JavaScript. This is the flow we have. Since someone does, I'm coming. So like this is the flow that we have in JavaScript. It will be executed from top to bottom. So when we say control flow, control flow give us a way to some control flow give us a way for us to decide how our program should work. It allows control, okay, which block of code should be executed, which block of code should not be executed. So if a script does not include its control statement that alters its flow, what will just happen is that, please can you mute your mic? What will happen is the code will just execute. The code will execute from top to bottom. If there is no code there to influence the flow of its flow, so it will execute from start till the end without any interruption. But when we are what happens is that JavaScript now provide a way for us to alter the flow of our program. Like I don't know if you can see my screen clearly. I don't know if you can see my screen clearly. I'm trying to like I think there are three diagrams here that kind of depicts what I'm trying to explain. Now if you see the first one, this first one, the sequential. So this is what happened in JavaScript. Each line of code is executed from top to bottom. The first line of code will be executed. Then once that is done, it will move to the next line of code. It will execute it. Then once that is done, it will move to the next line of code and execute it. So JavaScript operates in a sequential manner. But with the help of control flow, you want to be able to allow your program to make decision that okay, if certain things happen, if certain things are true, then is this block of code that should execute. Or I want certain block of code to be executed so number of times. So that way you are controlling how your program operates. Your program is not just it's not just working from top to bottom again. Now your program is dynamic. For those of us that are just joining, what we'll be talking today about is control flow. And control flow is the order in which the JavaScript interpreter executes the JavaScript program that you have written. The control flow is the order in which the JavaScript interpreter executes the programs that you have written. And what I explained is that ordinarily JavaScript we execute the code from top to bottom. That is, the first line of code will be executed first before then the next line of code will be executed before it now gets to the last code. And I actually show this example, which is us. We are console logging the digits 1 to 4. And what we'll see is that when we check our console, when we check our console here, what we'll see is that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the same manner that we have it in our code. We have console log 1 in line number 10. Then once JavaScript executes this line of code, it moves to the next line of code. It executes it. Then it moves to the next line of code. It executes it. Then it moves to the next line of code. It executes it. If JavaScript does not execute line 10, it cannot execute line 2 and the rest of the lines. So that's how it works. It works by moving from top to bottom. That's what control flow is trying to describe how JavaScript code are being executed. So now we have ways of influencing this control flow. If you don't want our code to be just symmetrical, just straight line, just operating from top to bottom, then we take advantage of these tools that have been provided for us. We have things like iterators, And what the iterator does is that it allows us to execute certain block of code a specific number of times, any amount of times that we want. We also have conditional statements too. So these tools actually help us control the flow of our program instead of just having a instead of just having a program that just runs sequentially from top to bottom, like the one we have here. You can have a program that branch out that okay, oh, if road A is blocked, take road B or make two turnings by your left. So those are the kind of things we want to be able to do. So that's why we will talk about conditional statements with loop today. Talk about conditional statements and loop. So does anyone have an idea of what conditional statements are? Does anyone have any idea? I'll call names. So. And if I like if as I'm explaining, I'll actually like be asking question. And the only reason why I'm asking question is to know if you are following, right? Because if you are whether or not you know the answer, just attempt it. That's what that matters. So I know that okay, oh, you are getting what I'm explaining, or you are not getting it, then I should re-explain it. So once I just call your name, you don't need to be mute or leave the call. Just say what you know. Any amount of idea that you have is okay. No one is flogging anyone here. So which like does anyone have an idea of what control statement is? Susan, Susan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Please,
can hear you, but I have no
okay, do
idea.
you have no idea? Okay.
Yeah.
Next time don't say you have no idea. You have an idea, right? You are familiar with you are speaking English, right? So even if you don't know, like even if you might not know like what the concept specifically is saying, you can kind of draw idea from the word conditional statement. You know what condition is, you know what statement is. So you just don't say no idea. So just someone okay, someone else. Think Mr. Love Promise. Are you there? Mr. Love Promise, please. If you can hear me clearly, can you just unmute your mic and just explain to your best of knowledge what you understand, like what you understand by conditional statements. We are waiting though. We're actually waiting for you. I don't know if you can hear me. If your microphone is faulty, you can just type it. And just okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. Please, can you just explain what you understand by conditional statements?
Um, I do not really have. How should I put it now? You said you should not say you don't have an idea,
Yeah.
but I can't help in this state.
Okay. When you hear conditional statement, what comes to your mind?
Um, like a command that probably helps one to, I don't know, maybe to maneuver or to manipulate.
Okay. Okay. Does any okay? That is okay. That's a nice try. It's better than no try. So, does anyone know it? Does anyone want to help out? Like before I proceed, if you have any idea, just unmute your mic and tell me.
Uh, I have some idea.
Okay, Susan. Okay, I'm listening.
Based on based on conditional and statement, I
Okay.
think it's something that it's an instruction that you feed to the computer in terms of programming language so
Hmm.
that it can work or yeah, so that it can work according to the language a computer can understand.
Okay. That's it, right? So, thank you, Mr. Idris. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something, though I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I would like to try.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
To my own best of knowledge, conditional statement to me means a statement that is being executed based on condition that you subject that statement to. Say, if this thing is true, do this. If this thing is not true, don't do this. So that's what I can say.
Okay, that is you said everything like well, you mentioned the keywords there. That is actually alright. And I said we should clap for him, but let's proceed. So if you talk about talk about conditional statements, conditional statements in programming generally, not just in JavaScript, they are these are statements that when you write them, they allow you execute certain lines of code based based on based on whether the condition you give is true or false. Now, if you give a condition, I'm sure everyone here is familiar with booleans here, right? Everyone here is familiar with booleans because we discussed it extensively in the previous class. So boolean is a value type in JavaScript, and there are two values that can exist. There are two type of boolean value, true or false. So now, when we talk about conditional statements, these are statements that expect you to give conditions, right? These statements you are expected to provide a condition to these statements, and whether or not if the condition that you are given is true, then the lines of code I have written will be executed. The way we have it here. I hope everyone can see my screen. So the way we have it here now, this the third image, which is the conditional. So now we have a statement. Here, this dot here is representing the statement. If this statement, if it's true, it's going to take care. This block of code will be executed. But if the statement is false, is this block of code that is by the right that will be executed. I hope you are following. I hope you are following. If you are following, just say yes, so I will
Yeah,
know you are
sorry,
following.
please.
Yes, yes.
Sorry,
Yes,
please.
yes,
Can you
we
just
are.
come again? Because I'm lost. I
Uh,
can't hear you from
You can't hear me clearly.
after my voice. Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay. Please, if you are not asking questions, let's kindly mute our mics, please. So, so I was explaining what conditional statement is, and I was making use of this diagram to explain what it is, right? So, what I said is that conditional statements in JavaScript, not only in JavaScript, in almost every program that you have, they allow you execute a block of code based on whether or not the condition you have provided is whether it is true or it is false. So if it is true, the lines of code that you have prepared that you want to be executed will run. And if it is false, the line of code that you want to execute will run. So what I did was I now proceed to make use of this diagram that we have here. That right, we have a condition. This dot here is representing the condition, and this square that we have here, these two square, they are representing the block of code that we want to execute based on whether the condition we've provided is true or false. So if the condition we've provided is true, this block of code we execute. But if it is false, this other block of code we execute. Now, in JavaScript, we have two ways by which we can run these control statements. Either you can make use of if statements you can make use of if statements, you can make use of switch case and ternary operators. So we'll start with the if we'll start by looking at the string stack of the if statements. Please, at any point, if you are confused, if you can't hear me audibly, if you are lost, Please just call my attention, right? Call my attention, then I'll go over it again. I promise. So okay, let's proceed. Okay, first thing I'm looking at if statements. So also like I want every one of us to like to get used to reading documentation, right? So that's one of the like easiest way you can learn. And one very helpful resource that's out there is W3 School. W3 School has a very detailed documentation of JavaScript. MDNC is also good. But I think if you are just starting out, I just make use of W3 School. So if you look for there's if statements, checking can have if statements here. Okay, if your statements. So now like I want us to look at the syntax. Basically, if if statement is a type of conditional statement that we have in JavaScript. And we also have three others. We have the switch case and we have the ternary operators. You can make use of this, you can make use of this the three of them to execute conditional statements. And I explained that conditional statements allow us to execute certain lines of code based on whether or not the condition we've provided is true or false. So now I want to look at the syntax of how we are to write if statements in JavaScript. So if you are going to write if statements in JavaScript, first thing is, I hope everyone can see my screen. So the first thing is you write
Yeah, I
the
can see it
if.
from our end.
So first thing you have is you write if. You have if, you write if. Then inside we have an opening and closing brackets. Inside that opening and closing bracket, we have a condition. And that condition is you are expected to what will be inside our opening and closing brackets. It will be a statement that will yield a boolean value. When I say boolean value, I mean that it will be a statement that will yield true or false. So whatever statements will be inside the this opening and closing brackets, it will be a statement that will yield true or false. So after we've written that, then we have a block of code. We have a block of code that we want our program to execute if it's true. Then else you can write else. Also, so let me just write it. So we get what I'm saying. Let's start with if statements. If else statements. So for if you're writing if statements, the first thing is you have you have the if keyword. That is a keyword. You have it. So once you've written if, then you have opening and closing brackets. Inside this opening and closing brackets, what you'll be writing inside is a statement that will serve as your condition. Now, imagine now you want to give house, you have an apartment that you want to rent out. And now the landlord that wants to give the house, that wants to rent it out to a tenant, the landlord will have conditions that okay, oh, these are conditions that you must abide by if you want me to rent this out to you. Some people will say, I don't want dog in my house. This house I'm renting to you, I don't want dog. I don't know if you get, I don't know if you are following me. So if the person have dog, the landlord does not want to give the house to the owner. He does not want to give the house to that person. So now the landlord might have a list. May have a list like okay, first no dog, no dog, no dog. The landlord might have another condition that okay, oh, aside from the fact that I don't want dogs, I don't want bachelors, I want only married couples. The landlord might also have a condition that okay, oh, I don't want short people in my house. You understand? So once you don't meet all these criteria now, you're not able to rent that particular house from the landlord. I hope you are following. Please, if you are following, just say yes. So I know that I'm not talking to myself. Is anyone lost?
Yes.
Someone is lost.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, okay. I'm coming. So everyone understand what I've been explaining so far, right? If no one is if you are not answering, that means you understand. That's what it means. If you don't answer me, I believe like it means that you understand. So
Susan,
Mr.
Susan, please, are you there?
Mr. Matthew, Mr. Matthew, are you there?
I'm following, yes.
Okay, please. Can you explain
Following,
what
yes, yes.
okay, can you explain what if statement is?
If statement.
Yes, that's what I've been explaining. Oh no, no,
Hello?
no, no, don't explain this statement. Explain what conditional statements are.
Conditional statement.
Yes, conditional statements.
From what I understand, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, from what I understand so far, it's all right. I've read. It's a statement that helps to execute lines of command. That if it is true, then the command will be executed. But if it's not true, that is, it's false, it will not be executed. It will do something else. So that's what I understand by the conditional statement. So it's just a statement
Okay.
to help us to check if a set of lines meet the requirement, and if it meets
Yes.
it, it is to execute it. But if it didn't meet it, it will not execute it.
Okay. Wow, that's fantastic. Let's continue. So you are following. So I was giving an example. I was trying to explain using the using landlord. I know everyone is familiar with landlord renting house issues. So now imagine you want to rent house somewhere. Now you go and meet you go meet an agent, right? The agent will tell you that okay, oh, there's a particular house that is available, and this house is so the rent is so price. There's also like conditions, right? Now these conditions now, if you cannot meet up with this condition, you won't be able to rent that particular house. Similarly too, in our control statements, there are always in our conditional statements, there are always conditions that have to be met before particular lines of code can be executed. So if these conditions, so any control statement that you have, there will be a particular place in the program where you input your conditions. Now for each statement, the conditions will be inside this opening and closing brackets. That, sorry, that is the syntax. The condition will be inside this opening and closing brackets. And these conditions we execute to true or false. The statements you want to write inside here, we execute. You must write a statement that we execute to true or false. So once you have your condition here, once you have your condition here, I'm just writing condition though. It is not. I'm just writing condition. So once you have your condition here, the next line of code that you have is the code that you want to run. I hope you are following. This curly brackets that we have now it will contain code that we want to execute if the condition have been met. If the conditions that are provided have been met successfully, we want this line of code to run. That means run this block if it's if it's now. So if the conditions that are provided, this block of code will be executed, right? And then we write else this block of code should be executed. I hope you are following. So for the if statements, if you are going to write it, you write if opening and closing brackets. Here you put the condition. Then you have your curly brackets where you write the block of code that you want to be executed if the condition is met. If the condition is not met, you put else. Then you write opening and closing brackets and the block of code that you want that should be executed if the condition is not met. So this is syntax for it. Let me just comment it out. So now let's have an example. Please, does anyone have any question? Please, does anyone have
No, I
any
don't have
question?
any question.
Okay, no question. So that means we can proceed. Fine. So now let's let's imagine. I think I've given this example before. But let's make use of it. It's simple. Let's imagine we are having a party now, and this party we don't want anyone that is a child to attend. We don't want children to attend this party, just for adults. And we know that okay, legal age. Which age is legal age? I think 18 for most countries. I know some countries is 21, but most countries is 18. Nigeria here also it is 18. So once you are 18 legally, you are an adult. So now we're having a party and we want only people that are up to 18, only adults. That means individuals from age 18 and above are the only ones allowed to come into our party, to attend our party. So now we want to write a program that will check if the user, if the person that is coming, if the person is fit, if he's old enough to attend our party. We'll make use of if statements to do this. So now let's have if can someone let me just write it. Oh wait, can someone just tell me how I'm going to write this? Can someone tell me how I'm going to write this? Should I call someone? What do you think will be our condition? You know, I said that our condition has to execute to true or false. So which condition will be here? Which condition will we be providing? Susan, do you have an idea?
I can make a try.
Okay, okay.
So your first condition will be if
Mm-hmm.
if age 18 and above,
Okay.
uh,
If age, okay, 18 and above. Okay, 18. How are we going to write that?
uh, yeah.
That means if age is greater than Abi,
Yeah.
If it's greater
Idris
than or equals to what 18, then the
18.
person is yeah, then the person is allowed to come to the party.
The person that, yeah.
Okay,
Then the
that's
else,
okay. Okay, then the else, you just can just console.log. You're not up to 18. So Susan, that's correct. So what we want to do is that we want a program that will help us check if the person, the individual coming, if the person is fit enough to attend our party. And we've agreed that okay, oh, the condition for you to attend our party is that you must be up to 18. The minimum age that can attend our party is individuals from the age bracket 18 and above. So we already know that that's the condition. So first, now what we'll do that means is that we'll be comparing the age of the individuals that are coming. We'll be comparing them to 18, to the digit 18. If the age is greater than 18 or the age is 18 and above, then the person can come in. But if the person is less than 18, then the person will go out. So now let's create a constant. Let's say constant. Let's check if our program will work. Let's say we have let's say let's let's say okay, constant. Let's use let instead. I want this to change. Let age. So we have how many people are here in the class? We have 5 people. So let's say Idris. Let's say let Idris age. Idris is equals to Idris is 9 years old. This is 9 years old. Let's say Susan, you're 12. Susan is equals to 12. Math is 20 years. Then I think we still have one more person. Okay. Just three. So Susan age, Math age. So one thing I always tell us is that when we are creating our variable, when we are naming our variable, we should make sure that our variable name, the name we are giving our variable, is as descriptive as possible. Because that is also a way for us to document our code. So anyone that is coming to you, anybody that comes to this code now, they know okay, oh, this age, whatever value is here is storing the age of Idris. So the name we are giving our variable automatically describe the value, the kind of value it is holding. So when you're writing your programs in the future, ensure that you don't just give any kind of name to your variable. Don't just name your variable randomly anyhow. Always give a descriptive name so that next time you are coming to read your code, it will be easy. You will understand what you did before. So now, what we want to do now is that we now want to check. We'll be checking if Idris, Susan, and Matt. We will check if they can attend our party with this our program that I've written here. So now, his age we are comparing, right? So we'll just come here. Then we'll say, okay, oh, is Idris? We are storing the age of Idris. We are storing inside here. Then we are now comparing it. Hope we get. I hope you are following.
Yeah,
Eh?
yes.
Is someone confused?
Yes, yes.
Someone is confused. Who's confused? So is anyone confused? If you are confused, just let me know. So no one is confused. Okay, let's go on. So now we have written this program. We have we have three individuals here, Idris, Susan, and Matt, and we have their age. So we now wrote a program that will help us check if they are up to 18 or not. If they are up to 18, they will be allowed to come into our party. Else, if they are not up to 18, we will let them know that they are not up to 18 and they should go. So now, what we now did here is that we created different variables to store the age. Then we came here to the line 24. Then we are now assigning the value of each. We will now be assigning the value of each age of each individual to this age variable. Then we now came to the if statements and compared the age with age 18 if the age is greater than or equals to 18. So for the first person, Idris, let's check if Idris can attend our party or not. So when we check our console, you are not up to 18. So that means once Idris see this, Idris know that okay, he will not be able to attend our party. Then the next person, let's check the next person, Susan. Susan age. So Susan also cannot attend our party because she's not up to 18. Now let's check Matthew. Let's check if Matthew will be able to attend our party. Okay, Matthew can attend our party. You can come in. So what we have done here is that we have written a program that will check the age of the people that will be attending our party, and this program can actually tell them if they can come in or not. I hope you are following. Please, if you are
Yes,
following, just say
following.
yes. Any questions so far?
Yeah. I'm following.
Susan, any
Yeah,
questions so
I'm
far?
following.
No question from no question from my own end, but Mr. Matthew shouldn't be the only one attending the party. The party will
Eh,
not make sense like that, bro. Yes.
oh, the rest are not up to 18. There's nothing you can do.
Mr. Idris.
It won't make sense. It won't make sense.
It's not an illustration. I don't want to give them in now.
So, so Mr. Matthew is the only one that is up to 18. That's why he's the only one that can attend the party. So also now aside from having just a single if and else statement, you can have else if in between. What I mean is this now. Imagine we want to we want to have we just don't want to have one condition. We want to have like we want to take multiple conditions as the same. We want to take multiple conditions. What I mean is okay, let's come I'm coming. Let me let me comment this out. So now we can have if else we can have else if statements in between. And this the same way we wrote the if statement initially, still the same way we write it. If we have our condition here, we have our condition here. I think someone is joining. Okay, let's continue. So yeah, we have our condition here. And we have the block of code that we want to execute. The block of code to execute. If condition is met. So now instead of just having else, right? Instead of just having else, you can also have else if you can also have else else if. And what this does is that with else, you can't provide condition. You can't provide another condition. The only thing is we just only provide block of code to be executed. Now, what else if does is that it gives us another opportunity to provide another condition. That okay, if this first condition is not met, if this condition is not met, then this is what should happen. Now, let me give this illustration. Okay, okay. Now imagine student now. Most of us are familiar with JAM. We are familiar with JAM. That is the exam that we take to enter tertiary institution in Nigeria. So now, if you score, you have opportunity to pick different course, right? You can pick any course you want to apply for. But one of the determining factor that will affect whether the course you selected you will be picked for it, to be admitted to the uni for it, is your JAM score. Now we can write a condition that will help us check, okay, if this student, if he scores, maybe he scores 400 over 400, give him so course. Then we write else if he score 300, give him so course. Else if he score 200, give him so course. I don't know if you are getting. What else if does now is that it gives us another opportunity to add condition again, to create another condition instead of just having just a single condition. We can have multiple conditions in our program should in case the first condition is not met. Now let's write that. Okay, let's write this is the syntax we have. Let me complete the syntax first. Else if you have your condition here, then you have the block of code that you want should execute if the condition is met. And one thing is that you can have as many else if block as you want. You can have if you want to have 1 billion else if block, you can have it. You can have it as much as you want. You can have it as if it's 30 billion only you want to have it, anything like that. So you can have as many else if. So the same way, and you can just end it with else. That means if you end it with else, that okay, if none of this condition is met, then this is what should happen. Please, does anyone have any question? Who understand, please? I'm guessing everyone understand. And I have to call one person to explain it. So who should I call? Colade,
Yes, boss.
you are here now.
Yeah,
So
I
you
did.
understand. So can you explain how else? Can you explain the syntax of if else statements?
If
Else if I mean
else,
else if.
okay. If else, that one just gives a direct yes or no, like true or false condition. Like if this does not work, then let the other one work. But in terms of else if, Inside the else again, you can still
Mhm.
state like a third party condition.
Okay.
Do you understand? So I understand to that extent yet. So, but what I want for clarification now is an example. Like cite us an example.
Okay. 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 We'll
Yes.
do that now.
Thank you.
Okay. Now the illustration I gave initially was that's what we'll be making use of. We want to write a program that we let's imagine that okay, oh, Kolade is the president of this country. You now make a proclamation that okay, oh, if you have written jam, people that if you score from so and so and above, you should be offered this course. That means if you score above 400, it's mathematics. If you score 400, I mean 400 over 400, you read mathematics in university. If you score 300, you read dentistry. If you score 200, you read sociology. If you score so and so, this is the course you read. Now we want to write code down to write a program to do that. So what we'll be making use of is we can make use of else if statement for that. So first, let me should I just cut this? Oh, let me cut this Jerry. Going to waste time. So first, right? I hope we understand the example I want to give. We want to write a program that will tell your course of study depending on your jam score. So now, if we have a condition, and what are we comparing? What are we comparing? Can someone tell me what we are comparing? What we'll be checking for?
Jam score
Yeah, we'll be
equals
checking.
so
What we'll be checking is the jam score we are checking. We'll be
yes.
comparing the jam score to whatever the cutoff mark will be. The jam score that the students have to whatever the cutoff will be. So now, let's say if your jam, if jam, let me put jam score, students jam score. If your jam score is greater than or equals to let's just say 350, then let's console log. Which course of study should the person or which course should the person study? Susan, Susan, are you there?
Yeah.
So which course do you think the person should study? Should the person have a jam score of 350 and above?
I don't understand your jump score.
Okay, jam. I know you're not
Uh,
an engineer, but jam is that exam that you take.
medicine.
Okay, okay, no problem. We'll put MBBS. So jam is that exam you take
Mm.
for you to enter tertiary institution in Nigeria. So what we now want to do is that we want to write a program that will determine the course of study of a student based on their jam score. So now, so someone already suggested like the person have a jam score of 350 and above, the person should be studying MBBS. That is medicine and surgery. Yes. Else, if so now, if the student jam score not greater than if is what we want to write a condition that we check now. We want to write a condition that will check whether the person's jam score is between three between 349 and 300. How do we check that? How are we going to write it? Can anyone help out, or I should just call someone? Idris, can you help out? Once we write a condition here that will check if the student's jam score is between 300 and 349. How do we write it? Idris, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, how are we
I'm
going to
trying
write
to
it?
figure out how. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out that.
So last class we discussed about logical operators and
Yeah, or
com-
and
yeah, or than
not.
not. I also discussed about
Yes.
about comparison operator.
Yeah. I think I have an idea like that.
Okay, yeah.
I think I have an idea. So
So
we can say if student
okay,
jam score between what number? Sorry,
349 and 300.
349 and 300. Okay, if jam score is equal to or greater than 300,
Are you sure?
or if jam score
If it's equals to if jam score is equals to, I'm coming. Let me admit the person that is. Yeah, can you continue? If jam score is what?
if jam score is equals to 300 or greater than 300. Sorry, if jam score is like if jam score is greater than or equal to 300, that's the greater
If
than
jam
or equal to
score
300
if jam score is
is
greater
greater
than
than or equal to 300,
jam score is greater than
or
equals.
yes, or jam score is less than or equal to jam score is equal to 349.
Is it all you want to use? Three jam score is greater is what greater than what?
Jam score is equals to 349.
Equals to
349.
349. Let's use 3 plus.
Use the three, yeah, three equal to.
The thing there is that now we still want to okay we still want to have multiple this this what we have here now. You make use of or, for logical statements we say it requires
Oh,
only one.
sorry, it should be and
It requires
it
only
should
one
be
of it
and
to be true.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
and so we should have
yes,
one there.
yes,
That's
yeah,
correct.
yeah, it
And
should be it should be and
so what we have here is that what is what this condition is saying. This condition is saying that this condition will only be true if jam score is equals to 349. Sure,
three four nine.
yes, and this condition will be true if the jam score is greater than 300. So if 350 will still fall as true here, but but the code inside will not execute because this will be equals to false. What we want to do is that we want to capture
Okay,
numbers that are between 300 and 349.
okay.
You understand? We want to capture numbers that are between 300 and 349. Which number are between 300 are between which number are between 300 and 349? So all we want to do is that once check okay, jam score, that means we have to give two conditions. And the two condition is that the jam score has to be less than or equals to 349, and at the same time, the jam score has to be what equals has to be greater than or equals to 300. I don't know if you are following me.
Uh, you
So
can,
now,
sorry, please repeat yourself or write it down
okay,
or
let
write
me just
the
try to say
this
that.
thing down.
So what we're going to have is that
Yeah.
since we want to capture numbers between 349 and 300. So what we want is we want number that are
That will be
less than or equals to 340 349. So 349, and at the same time we want the number to be what greater than or equals to 300.
300.
So you see that
Okay.
numbers, the only numbers that will be in this range, 350 cannot be in this range. Because why? Because 350 is greater than what 349, so it cannot fall here. But 349 can fall here, right? Because 349 is equal to 349, and at the same time 349 is greater than 300. I hope you get. Is anyone following? Is anyone lost? Is anyone lost? I don't know
Yeah,
if
I'm with
No,
you.
no,
I'm
I'm
with you.
following. I'm with you.
everybody say they are following. Please, if you are lost, say so. So in the previous class, we talked about logical operators. We talked about logical operator and we talked about comparison operator. This greater than, greater than or equals to. These are comparison operator, and or not, they are logical operators. So that's why I have to like explain them first before we come to control flow, because there are things that we'll be making use of in control flow, and if you don't properly understand them, you'll be having one or two issues. So now what we want to do is that we want to write a program that will decide the course of study that a student will have depending on the jam score. So now for students that have a jam score that is 350 and upward, up above, we know that the highest jam score you can have is 400. So now for students that have jam score of 350 and above, you'll be studying MBBS. That means you have to have what? A jam score that is greater than or equals to 350. Now we now want to, the next set of students is students that their jam score fall between 349 and 300. So we want to write a condition that we check for those specific students. That means this that means the student jam score will start from 300, 301, 302, 303, 304 up to 349. So students within this range, you want to capture them. How can we capture them? We can capture them by writing a logical statement, a conditional statement that we check, okay, is this student is his jam score greater than, less than or equals to 349? If your jam score is less than or 349, that is fine. Also, is your jam score, is it greater than or equals to 300? Your jam score must match these two conditions. If the jam score match only the first condition and it does not match the second condition, this block of code, it will return false. I don't know if you are getting. I want to ensure that everyone understand this statement, this particular statement. I want to ensure that we all understand it. Is there anyone that understand it? Please, if you understand it, just say yes.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Mr. Matthew, you don't understand it because you didn't say
Yes,
yes.
yes.
So Mr. John, you didn't say yes. You were quiet. Is Mr. John here? Mr. John is keeping quiet. What about Susan?
I've answered. Do I say yes?
No, I said
My
Mr. John.
network.
And
Okay. Susan, do you understand that statement?
yeah, yeah.
Kolade, what about you?
I'm on the road like this. I'm on the road like this.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Oluwatomishi, are you following? I think this is the first time I'm seeing you.
Just continue. I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
No problem.
Yes,
Oluwatomishi, are you following? Are you following?
I am. I am. I
Okay.
am. I am.
Okay, can you
Yeah,
explain
yeah.
can you explain what this
Yeah,
this
right.
statement that is highlighted? Can you explain what it is doing?
Yes, 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 I am. Yes, I am. I understand. Just go on. Thank you.
No, I know you understand. Like, can you just explain what it is doing? This statement here that is highlighted.
So, else if it's basically saying we are looking like the condition should be a number between 300 and 349. So this statement is saying if the term score is between those two boundaries of number, then whatever next line of code to run is going to run.
Okay,
Terminator is very noisy. That's why
I
it
understand. I
keeps.
understand. Obviously, like you understand it. Okay, I'm sure. So now we all understand that statement. We all understand the statement that is here. So I'm happy. Let's go on. So now, which course of study should we give this person? Which course of study should we give this set of students? Uh, Mr. Matthew, which course of study? If your just come is between 9 and 300. Which course of study? Or can anyone just suggest a course of study if your just between 349 and
I
300?
think law,
Anyone?
law,
Law.
law,
Law,
LLB
okay.
or something like that. I, I think
LLB.
law. Yeah.
So if you, so let us make it three because else else if so let's write for if your jam score is between 300 and 300 and 150. So for students, if you want to write that, read students jam score that is what that is greater than that is less than or equals to what 2299 and at the same time the student jam score is greater than or equals to 150. So what should this set of students study? Let us say let them study mathematics,
Engineering.
engineering. Okay, you study engineering. So if you are scoring less than if you are scoring anything other than these conditions we've given here, go and retake jam. Just say go retake.
No admission.
No admission. Abi.
No
No ad-
admission.
okay, no no admission. Fine. So now let's create a variable to store our let's create a variable cons Student jam score is equals to first one, let's say 400. The student score 400. So let's see what we have in our console. If the student score 400, we are setting the student jam score to 400. First person scored 400. So we check our console, we are studying MBBS. That's what we are getting. So let's okay for students that score 279, 270. Let's see what the students will be studying. They are studying engineering. So what about students that let's say that score 20 in JAM? What will students study? No admission. So what we have done is that we have written a program that can check for the student JAM score and allocate a course of study to that student simply by making use of conditional statements. What we did is that our program now is not just running on a straight line. The program can now branch into what can take four different routes. One is either the program console log this, or it console log this, or it console log this, or it console log this. There are three branches. There are four paths that our program can take, depending on the score that our students have. Instead, rather than just console logging console logging the same thing, console logging MBBS for every student, you can say, okay, oh, now our program, if the student score so and so, this is what should happen. If the student score this, that should what should happen. So now we are now influencing the flow of our program. I hope we are following. I hope everyone is following.
Yeah, yes, yes, I'm following.
Yeah, but
Okay. So since everyone is following and the battery is I wanted us to go over switch case and ternary operator. But the most important one is this if statement. Like if you really understand if statement, right? Others follow the same pattern. If you understand this if statement very well, you understand this very well. Others follow the same pattern. So I think how many of us are on the call? So we are like five on the call. So I don't want to give a specific assignment. I don't want to give a specific assignment. I want an assignment that everybody can have something different. And don't use ChatGPT. Don't use ChatGPT to do the assignment. Right? No, it's something that's simple. Just okay, you write a program. You write a program that will make use of if statements. That will make use of else statements. You can do you can decide that, okay, oh, the program you're writing it will check for the line, the probably the kind of network that a person is making use of. You understand? You can decide that, okay, oh, your own is your program we give ice cream. We give a ice cream flavor depending on the flavor that the user asks for. I hope you are following. Is everyone following?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yes, 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 we
yes.
are. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
the assignment is that you write a program. You're not writing anything big. Like same thing that the way we have been writing it in class. And please let everyone do this assignment. So I know that okay, we are following or we are not following. So you write a program and the program I want to do that everyone have access to a computer because we'll be sharing our screen to see what we do. We have to like 7 days to do this assignment. Is it 7 days? Like 6 days plus some hours to do the assignment. So the assignment is simple. All I want to see is that you make use of if else statements in the program you're writing. And the program can be anything you want. What I did here is that I served we give a course of study to the student depending on the student's jam score. So your program can do anything. Just make sure that you make use of if statements. And when we look at it, don't use ChatGPT. Please don't use ChatGPT. If you make use of ChatGPT, you're not learning. You will not make mistake and learn from your mistake. So that's it by yourself. Once you write by yourself, you write the syntax, you make mistakes somewhere, then you see that your code is not running. You correct it, then you learn. So like that's all we'll be doing for today. So from next class, first thing we'll do is I will go through the assignments. We'll go through each everyone assignment. And if you make use of ChatGPT, we will know. Because there's don't make use of ChatGPT. Just do it by yourself. Nobody is fucking anybody. Everybody's here to learn. So like that's that's all for today.